Welcome everybody to my living room, my Beachbody little cozy little house. I've got about 6 or 7 other, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 including me. And most of you guys are scattered out all over the place. Alaska, hey Greg, California, Florida, New York, Texas. Got a new one in North Carolina, hey Vicki.
Chuck Cutler, hey.
Chuck Cutler, hey. Any other shout outs anybody wants to do?
Sandy, a shout out in New Jersey.
Alright, Sandy, a shout out in New Jersey from
Michael Hill.
Michael Hill.
Angie in Tennessee.
Angie in Tennessee. Alright, this is cool, guys. So this is going to be available for everybody. Great thing about the internet and video recording equipment. So this is a social media training. I'm really good at social media. I've earned a fortune using social media, specifically Facebook more than anything else. And I want all you guys to earn a fortune using social media, helping a lot of people get healthy and solving the 2 big problems of the day, income, and what's the other one? Health? I think so. Yeah, income and health. So if we can all make a fortune together solving those problems for ourselves probably, as well as a bunch of other people, and to let that spread like wildfire, that is a pretty good thing. The world would certainly be a lot better off, much, much happier people. But my niche is social media, especially Facebook. And I've learned a lot, and even recently I've learned a lot, and I want to pass that on to you guys so that you can duplicate what I'm doing with your own flavor and be really successful. Does that sound like a plan?
Oh yeah.
Sounds great.
Sounds good. Okay, so thanks for being here. And in 2, 3, 4 years from now, I think it would be pretty cool if during this time we can succeed together, work together, and then go celebrate at some Caribbean island resort paradise tropical heavenly kind of place together as a group.
Woohoo!
Popping umbrellas in the sand, giving the sharks some food. No, not that part.
No.
No shark food. And that would be fun if we could all work together, succeed together, and celebrate our success together at some tropical paradise island somewhere. This March is going to be Atlantis. That's a pretty paradise kind of place. And every year there's going to be something else. But even just us as a group, even outside of Beachbody, that would be pretty cool if we're all making that kind of money. We don't have to check our bank account at home to make sure that we got the funds to cover our expenses, and we don't have a boss to check back in with or a time clock we got to be so chained to. So let's just go for it together and do something that I've proven works. So that's my little pep talk before I get started. So the first thing that I want you guys to do is create a bucket list if you haven't already, and if you've already got one, this is part you want to write down you at home, and you coaches here. Create a bucket list of things that you've always wanted to do, and don't think about how much money it's going to cost to do them or how much time you're going to need and things like that. Just don't worry about that stuff. Just think about things you've always wanted to do, and you can add to it. And then I want you to write down why you're doing this, and it's going to be a little bit different than maybe the last time you wrote down your why, depending on who you are. Now this is really important here because a lot of coaches commit to something, they don't follow through, and I want to nip that in the bud right here and now before that just gets out of control anymore. Because when you say you're going to do something and you're in a team environment, when you don't follow through and you get off the wagon and back on, you let other people down. And it's not all about you, but when you get off the wagon, for your own reasons after committing to other people, it becomes about you, and it's kind of selfish. So I want you guys to cut that out right now. I'm not singling anybody out. I know there's a lot of people that do it. I did it at least twice in my first year and a half of business. It was selfish of me. And even my own business growth, well, it sort of halted a few times in the beginning. I would have gotten to where I wanted to be more quickly if I didn't do that. So I want you guys to, whatever you wrote down before, dig deeper, because obviously last time it didn't get the job done. Some of you guys, you fell off, and it's okay. You can get back on and totally change it for the future. So dig deeper this time, because last time it didn't get it done for some of you. And for those of you that, you know, you've already found your why, just keep going. You're on the path. Don't get off. And what I also want you to do is something a little bit differently that I got from a Les Brown video that I've seen probably a dozen times by now because it was so cool. It's a video, you can Google it if you haven't seen it. It's called Live Full, Die Empty. And he talks about courage and what courage means. He says it's not the absence of fear, but it's the judgment that the things that are, whatever your why is, it just happens to be more important than whatever is scaring you, whatever you're afraid of. So I want you to write down on a piece of paper 2 columns, and on the left side I want you to write down your biggest fears as it's relatable to this business or in life itself. And then I want you to write on the right side things that are more important to you the reasons you're doing this business and you're doing whatever you're doing, and those reasons have got to be more important to you than your biggest fears. And I want you to just stare at that sheet of paper and whatever you have to do until you come up with something to you that's more important for you than your fears. Because if you don't do that, then you're probably going to get back off the wagon again at some point, because your biggest fears creep up, and the things that are supposed to be more important to you just aren't more important than your fears. So you got to have one outweigh the other. And I want it to be the reasons that you're doing this, and they've got to be more important than your fears. So that's something new I'm introducing to you guys, and I want you to take it seriously, because I get kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I get kind of sad, for lack of a better word, when I see a coach commit to something and then not follow through for themselves and also for the other people that they perhaps let down to in the process. So enough talk about that. Can't underscore it enough. The next thing I want to talk about is the stuff that is on this here board. We're going to get down to the social media part of this social media training. I picked up some tricks over the past couple of years on social media, Facebook. I mean, I started out doing a great job in building a business, but I've learned some things that has made it easier. And I've plugged some other coaches into it. I've seen them go emerald within a week, within a month. It's really cool stuff, and they're getting paid. And because they're getting paid, it means they're helping more people solve those two big problems, income and health. So since it's validating that it's working, so I want to make sure that all of us are on the same page, and you can add your own little flavor to it with your own personality, definitely. But here it goes. I want you to, because you can't see this on video camera, I apologize for that. This is really easy to write down on paper. I want you to make 2 columns again, and on the left column, I want you to put daily actions at the top. And then on the right column, I want you to put daily personal development. So I'll give you time to do that right now, because I want you to do it now, not later. Do it now. You're thinking about it now, so do it now. Kelly will hum the theme to Jeopardy. You can pause this too, video watchers. There's no excuse to put it off for later, just do it now.
Just like the workouts.
Yes.
Just like the workouts, Tony says you can pause, but don't take too long. Okay, good. Left column, daily actions. And right column, daily personal development. 2 things that have to happen. Okay, let's talk about the daily actions first. We all know that the only way you can shape your life, change your life, whatever you need to do, is through the creative process of creating those daily actions. So let's talk about that. The first thing you want to do, specifically on Facebook, or I guess it could be anywhere, but let's keep this on point with Facebook. You got to find people. If you're constantly talking about whatever to the same people, then you're probably not going to get very far in growing your business. So you got to find people. It's also the first part of the share cycle: find, invite, share. Now, Facebook gives us this new amazing commonalities report that, you go to a friend's Facebook profile page, any one of them, or a friend of a friend, and you will see in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see mutual friends, or friends that you have in common, and then common interests. You see everything right there in a split second. You know what you have in common with that person's page that you're looking at. You don't have to scroll up and down their profile anymore. That didn't take a lot of time to do, but we compared a half second to 5, 10, 15 seconds. That's a drastic difference, especially if you're continuously meeting new people and finding new people to introduce yourself to. So you're gonna be able to meet a lot more people in the same amount of time, or double the amount of people that you meet in the same amount of time. So before, the minimum requirement that I had for my original Facebook focus group was introduce yourself to 10 people a day. Well, I'm upping it to 20. 20 should be a breeze with this new commonality feature. So you might find that it's rather addictive because it's so much easier now, and because you're writing people, introducing yourself to them based on those commonalities, it gets to be addictive. You're not talking Beachbody, you're not talking weight loss, fitness, health, making money from home. You're just having a conversation with people the same way that you would without Beachbody, without the paycheck being involved. You're just being a human being, you're being yourself. That's really important that you do that when you're looking for people to introduce yourself to based on a commonality. For example, I love the show Boston Legal. So when I see Boston Legal listed there, I'll usually say something short and simple, and something that I mean, like, I love the show Boston Legal. How sad are you that it only lasted 5 seasons? So it's a sentence or 2, and there's a question in there. and it's just a conversation starter, an icebreaker that I'd be having with somebody regardless if there was a Beachbody thing or any other thing attached to it. It's just me, my own flavor, being myself. And the goal is to do at least 20 a day. If you do at least 20 a day, then everything else is eventually going to fall into place, because as your friend list is growing in number, there's going to be more people that are looking at the content that you're sharing on your Facebook wall or your Twitter or your blog or whatever. Instead of the same people over and over again, you're constantly expanding your Facebook friends. And that's really important. That's where it all starts. If you don't have that, then you've got nobody to invite to look at it in any information, because you're not finding anybody. And if you can't invite anybody to look at anything, you can't share anything with anybody. If you can't share, your business just ain't gonna grow. That's all there is to it. So I hope that's in simple enough terms for you to understand that it always boils down to the find portion here. Finding people, introducing yourself to them based on common interests. And how does Facebook determine what your common interests are? If you haven't done it yet, you're going to fill them out. If they're blank, then you're probably going to see a bunch of nothing, and that's not good. So edit your profile, and it asks you for your favorite movies, athletics, sports teams, inspiring people, bands, musical interests, all sorts of stuff. Fill all that stuff out. That's how Facebook knows. So that's step number one. Write it down. People watching the video, if you have to pause this, do it, but write it down. Fill out your Facebook profile, fill out all of your interests, or this is not going to work for you.
Update it probably every
And
so often.
yeah, you can always update it too. In fact, you might see something listed on somebody's page where you're like, oh yeah, I like that thing that they're into. I forgot about that. I should add it. And then go ahead and add it. Absolutely. Okay, that's long enough pause. Okay, so that's fine. The next part is content. You got all these people, you need to deliver content on a regular basis, and my favorite kind of content is the kind that pulls people into me instead of me going out there like some desperate sales network marketing kind of guy begging for people's business. I'm gonna create content in a way that pulls people towards me. And how I know I'm doing that is because people come towards me. They ask me questions. What's that Beachbody stuff you're doing? Or tell me about that Shakeology shake. It sounds like a lot of people are having a lot of success with that. So that's how I know that what I'm doing is working. It's how you're going to know what you're doing is working or not working. And if nobody is asking you about what you're doing, then take the lesson from that. Just learn to pay the price to make the changes to what you've been doing in the past, refine your efforts, do it with your coach. You want to get help from people that are already doing it, like me. I'll help you. And just keep refining until you get a more desirable result. And that result is going to be people are going to start coming to you because you're putting out there attractive content that people are drawn to. And that's a lot of fun when you can do that instead of chasing people. Make them chase you. Why not? You only live once. Make people chase you. It's fun. Is it fun? Is it fun for those of you that have done that? Of course it is. When you get an email from somebody, a typical email to me is going to look something like this. Hey Tom, I love your wall. It puts a smile on my face. I look forward to it every single day. Thank you so much for posting and doing what you do. By the way, tell me about this Shakeology stuff. I hear it's really good. And when I get something like that, I'm like, yes. And David Kern Lyons has the same response. He demonstrated it for us. It's just like this. Yes. It's validating, man. It's very validating that you become something that people are attracted to. So, content, the kind of stuff you could put out there. I must refer to my notes so I don't forget anything. I would put at least one Shakeology testimonial out there. You want to talk more about other people than you do yourself. Talking about other people's triumphs over whatever, health, fitness, income problems, all those triumphs, that's going to draw some attraction. You should probably do at least one short excerpt from a good literature, like a good book or good audio, something that you heard that creates an aha moment, that moment of enlightenment, that moment where you feel like, man, that made a lot of sense. Everybody should hear that or read it so they can feel what I just felt, that burst of energy in your brain. So when you come across some literature like that or a piece of good audio, put that on your page. Keep a journal of those things. I do. It works. At least one random thought of silliness throughout the day. If you can get people laughing, that goes a long way. You will condition them to read everything that you put out there. Share links, videos, pictures, interesting blogs and articles, and of course, status updates. You can re-syndicate stuff, you can create your own stuff. That's all good. Share between 4 and 10 pieces of content on your wall per day. You know, you can do as much as 11 or 12, I guess, but I wouldn't go much beyond that because then you might be seen as a nuisance.
Say that again, share.
About, on Facebook, between 4 and 10, maybe as much as 12. But don't go beyond that because then you could be seen as a nuisance. Twitter, however, is a different story. You could do 20, 30 tweets in a day, and over there, it's more acceptable. But on Facebook, it isn't. So don't do more than, at the most, 12 a day when you're sharing content. No more than 12. And of course, it's always good to cite something or someone you're grateful for and why. It's gonna be good for you, for one thing. And it's also going to show people that you're not some pompous jerk. That just goes to your attractiveness. You're gonna attract people to you simply by becoming an attractive person. That's a Jim Rohn piece for you there. That's one of the excerpts from a good book or good audio that you could share with people on your wall. I do. So those are the kinds of things you want to share on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. And it's varied. You don't want to do nothing but silly, nothing but serious stuff, nothing but this or that. You want it to be varied, and you want to talk about other people and their triumphs that they're scoring. Especially if you can plug that into your team that you're involved in, especially this team passion. There are success stories happening all over the place. If you can leverage the team that you're a part of, that you can plug anyone else into, that could be a powerful thing, because we're moving, man. We're rocking and rolling, we're cracking, we're whatever you want to call it. We're doing pretty good.
For those testimonials, come to the rest of your coaches to borrow if you have to.
That's right. Dan makes a good point. You can borrow testimonials from your coaches, and you can tell everybody these aren't infomercial testimonials. It's from my team that I'm a part of, and I'd love for you to team up with me. Come into this team with me. Absolutely. Leverage that. We got a really good team going here. All right. I think I can wing it from here. I don't think I need my notes anymore. So that's your content, and I spent a lot of time on that because it's important. Your content is going to determine whether people are moving towards you or away from you. So make them move towards you. That's the plan. Invite is the next step. When people are coming towards you and they're asking questions and so on, they want to know more about that Shakeology stuff or the P90X and getting ripped or whatever it is, the business opportunity, that's when you invite them to look at some information. And then when they say, yes, I'd like some more information, you send them an introducing Team Beachbody video if they're interested in the business opportunity. You send them the Shakeology opportunity video or the breakthrough or the 100 doctors if they're interested in Shakeology. You send them the P90X video if they're interested in getting ripped with P90X and they're big Tony Horton fanatics because they saw a P90X infomercial, whatever it is. There's all kinds of third-party tools that you can leverage to tell a story and give out the information so that you don't have to. It's pretty easy if you do it that way. All you have to do is find people, create the attractive content that pulls them in, and then when they're pulled in and they're asking you about it, you simply make the invitation, invite them to look at more information. Somebody says they want to learn more about Shakeology. Tell me about Shakeology. I'm really interested in that. Yeah, Shakeology is this shake. I'm drinking it every day. I feel great. A lot of people are having success of losing weight and regularity. Overall, they feel great. Can I send you some more information about that? That's it. You say a little something short and sweet. You're going to stick to stories, your why, other people that have had success. You can leverage those. Keep it short, sweet, and don't cross that line of talking about the stories to talking about the science or the how-tos and all that sort of stuff, because when you get into that, you give them something they can object to. And even if they don't know what they're talking about, if they object to it, odds are they lost interest in it. So don't give them the opportunity. It doesn't serve them or you because they're making a decision or coming to a conclusion based on very little information, and it doesn't serve anybody to make a haphazard decision like that, them or you. So don't give them the opportunity. Just stick to your why and the stories, and they won't have the chance to object to it, because nobody can argue with your why. That's your truth. It belongs to you. It's not objectionable. So that's how you invite people. And when you invite people, there's a little arrow over here, goes to the list. Every time that happens, somebody asks you about anything Beachbody related, you want to get out your list, which is a thing that's a constant process. You create your initial list when you get started, the people that you want to share this with right away, but then your list becomes a process that never ends, because if your list dries up, your business dries up. We don't have inventory. Our inventory is our list. It's people. We don't have a product inventory. It's a people inventory. So when somebody asks about something, you create the invitation to look at information. You add that person to your list. You put the date, today's date. You put their name. If it's Facebook, you probably don't need to write down their contact info. And then the name of the third-party tool that you use to share the information with them. And if there's anything else pertinent to the exchange, you can write that down too. Like maybe they have diabetes, or they're looking for something specific. You can just jot down a little note. And then you know exactly what happened, you know the tool that you used, and you know when to follow up, because the fortune is in the follow-up. So it makes sense to become a master of the follow-up, because that's where the fortune is. Makes sense? So after you invite, you get to the share part, and I guess I already talked about that. You use the third-party tools. And then the follow-up, because that's where the fortune is. I typically wait a day or two at the most. If when I share something, they say they just tell me that they're not going to get to it till 3 days from now or the weekend or whatever, then obviously I would write that down so I know when to follow up. Otherwise, I follow up 24 to 48 hours later, and if they have not gotten back to me, which is usually the case, that's why I'm following up, I'll just repeat the follow-up question. I'll say something like, what did you like the most in the video that I sent you the other day? And I won't even include any small talk. Don't add any lib at all. I don't. It seems to work for me. And then if another couple of days goes by and I still haven't heard from them, then by that time, or on about the third follow-up, I will just, this is what I got from MJ Durkins, and I love it. I'll say something like, drawing a blank right now. No, that's not what I say. I'm actually drawing a blank. I'll say something like, hey, I sent you that video the other day, some more information that you had asked for. I haven't heard from you. I followed up a couple times. I figure you're either really busy or upset or done something to upset or offend you. Can you do me a favor and relieve me of my conscience? Let me know that it's not the latter, that I didn't do anything to offend you. Could you do that for me? Thanks. And I almost always get a response then. And there's no trickery on that part whatsoever, okay? I honestly feel that way, and if they come to you asking for information and you have the courtesy to follow through with that request and they don't get back to you, they sort of force your hand. You can either just forget about them, which there's no fortune in that because the fortune is in the follow-up. You can keep following up with the same old and not getting anything back from them, or you can challenge them a little bit in a way that they've sort of forced your hand to do so. So absolutely, by all means, try that if they're not getting back to you after you've followed up a couple times. And obviously, if they do get back to you and they're ready to go or whatever, you can play that out by ear. And if you need help, if you're a brand new coach, call your coach and set up a three-way conversation. And you do that a few times, you're going to be able to do it more independently. But in the beginning, it's highly recommended you do this with your coach or some other expert and leverage them while you're still learning. And that leads to growth. So you got find, content, invite, share, follow up, and that's going to build traction, which will lead to growth and more growth and more growth. The other part of this is daily personal development. And this is pretty easy. You just read 10 pages or more of a good book every day. A good book, not a novel. You can still read your novels, but make sure you get this done too. If it comes between this or a novel, I would say if you place this with any importance, do this instead, at least for now, until you get more time in your life. 15 minutes of good audio. And let me back up for a moment. The 10 pages, most people can whip that out in 5 or 10 minutes. So that doesn't take a lot of time out of your day. I like doing it before I go to bed. It just works for me. Or sometimes early in the morning because I've just got that awesome mental clarity, maybe after a workout. But 5 or 10 minutes to get done with 10 pages. After a year, if you do that consistently every day, that's 3,600 pages of good, life-changing stuff you put in your brain that's going to make a difference. In fact, I make it a requirement for every coach that's serious about building a business. It's not for coaches that aren't serious, but if you're serious, I recommend that 10 minutes every day, or the 10 pages, which could be 10 minutes. And the audio, you could knock that out in your car. 15 minutes, you're probably doing more than that in your car anyway, so you don't have to take any extra time out for that. Maybe like going for a regular walk, you can strap on your iPod and headphones and you're good to go. And again, 15 minutes a day times, I don't know how many minutes that is in a year, but it's a lot, thousands. That's going to make a difference too. And then be grateful. Talked a little bit about that earlier. Encourage somebody. It makes you feel good if you sincerely encourage somebody and support somebody and tell somebody they're doing a great job because they did something that warrants that. So it's good to encourage people. Absolutely. It's going to make them feel good. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to contribute to your daily personal development. Absolutely. And then this at the bottom here. Consistent, relevant content. I guess you could file that one under this part, content. Writing with pull so that people ask you about Beachbody. You've got to put content out there that's relevant for who you're going for, the type of people that you want to attract to ask you questions about getting healthy and solving income problems. The content has to be relevant to that, and it has to be consistent. If you're not going to be consistent, this goes back to the first item on my talk in this video. If you're not going to be consistent and you're going to fall off, then don't do this. Don't do any of this until you know that you're going to follow through with what you say you're going to do. And it's up to you. If you say you're not going to do it, that's totally cool. There's no judgment from me whatsoever. It's just when somebody says they're going to do something, they should do it, especially considering this is a team environment. And if you're buddying up with other people and you put yourself out there and you don't follow through with what you say you're going to do, it's not about you. It's about those other people that you're letting down too. And I've gotten all too many, probably dozens of phone calls this year from the many hundreds of people that's in my team with the case scenario like that, and it's kind of heartbreaking. So I want to try to deter that as much as I can, even if it means that I offend somebody, and I'm dead serious about that. So if you're going to team up with people, follow through with what you say you're going to do, and if you can't, just don't team up with them. It's all right. We're not going to hate you because you don't want to do this with us. Just don't create the setup. That's all I'm asking. I hope that makes sense. Consistent, relevant content. Okay, I'm going to talk just a little bit about something I learned over the weekend. I kind of already knew it, but this guy named David Kern-Lyons put it in such amazing perspective. And it was an all-day business seminar on social media and name branding yourself. It was like 8 or 9 hours long, so it was a lot of content, and I'm going to go for just a couple minutes here, very briefly. And
This is good stuff.
It's really good stuff. It's about a nerve center. Now, I don't think that a new coach should even be looking at this. In fact, you can probably just fast forward past this part. Get this stuff down first. Don't overwhelm yourself. Get fluent with this first. And then, when you're ready to expand more, because by now you should be so in love with the whole concept of personal growth and development that you're always looking for new stuff to learn. Because that's what the overachiever does. And we all want to be overachievers. So once you're comfortable with this and you've got this down, you're fluent, look at getting a nerve center. If you want to see an example of one, go to mine. It's tomberkenmeyer.com. You'll notice that when you get there, it links to all my other social media sites. You got my YouTube, you got my Facebook, you got my Twitter, and I'm also connected to Google too in a way because it's also a blog site. When you go to tomberkenmeyer.com, the first thing you're going to see is my social media networks and my blog right there on the default page. And how that works is apparently Google loves blogs. It's Google's favorite thing. So as long as I'm putting consistent, relevant content on my blog, then I'm going to get better rankings with Google. So that sort of takes care of Google by default, just all these other things. The way that David described a nerve center is it's a central hub of operations for your corporate business center. And mine, I guess, would be me, the person, tomberkenmeyer.com, because I'm branding myself. And I just also happen to be an independent Beachbody coach who can help people solve their income and health problems. And everything is branched out to all these different social media networks. And it all just it's a centralized location for everything. It's really cool stuff. And there's also a price tag on it too. Now today is August 23rd, 2011. I say that because I don't know if this is ever going to change, but the price right now to have a nerve center built for you, which is what I did, is $297. But Beachbody coaches, through a special coupon, get $100 off. So we spend $197 to get this nerve center. And you know, you can have all these other social media tools without having a nerve center. You can have your Facebook and your Twitter, as most of us do, and what else? Oh, and YouTube. And but if you really want to go all out, yeah, I suggest a nerve center. You just let me know when you're ready for that, and we can talk more about it. But it's been a lot of fun doing this nerve center, and extremely helpful, and also makes it a more lucrative business opportunity too. But first, get fluent at all this. Don't even worry about that until you're fluent at this first. And maybe you need to start making money too before you invest a couple $100. So that's something to consider. That is about it. That about wraps up the video. Does anybody here have any questions?
I would just say if any of the people that are watching this video have any questions and feel like it's a dumb question, or they don't think it's worthy of asking their coach, you know, because it seems like a lot of times they're quiet until something happens, and then it's too late.
That's a good point.
Ask your coaches everything.
Yeah, you remind me of something that I say a lot in the Team Passion Facebook group, is that don't let anything get in the way of your learning and doing things. Don't feel stupid because you got a question that you think is stupid. Just ask me or your coach or somebody. Don't let anything get in the way, especially your own brain. Change the mindset if you're reserved to ask questions, okay? And just do it so that we can help you. We can't help you unless you're more open and forthcoming and you communicate things with us, for sure.
And to stay connected.
And stay connected.
Well,
And
we're a
that's-
large growing team, and all of us are available for any questions.
Yeah, Dan said we're all available. So the only thing keeping you from asking questions if you're reserved is you, but you can change that, and I encourage you to. It's a good idea. That's it. So we're going to do a workshop now. I'm going to show these guys how to get set up on Facebook and how to start finding people with commonalities. The first thing we're going to do is fill out those interests that we have. I mentioned that in the beginning. In fact, it was one of the first things I said for you to write down. Go edit your profile and fill all that stuff out. Tell it what you're interested in, so that when you do that commonality thing, you can just do it lickety split, and you can find 20 plus people in no time to introduce yourself to based on those common interests. And if you have any trouble with that, let me know, or somebody. Don't let anything get in the way of what you're trying to do. That's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is as awkward as I can end it. Enjoy yourself.
Bye, guys.
Have a good one.
I could end it more awkward like. Say hi, everyone. That's Tina and Paul. Hi. They say hi. That's Catherine. That's Lisa and Dan.
Hi, guys.
Hi. That's Kelly.
Hi, everyone.
Do you know this guy? I can't believe I get paid to just goof around like this. It's amazing. Why aren't other people doing this?
Because they don't know yet. And you have to get out there and let them know.
Okay, the group's signing off.
Nice.
Thank you for sticking around and making it to the end. Otherwise, you'd have missed this very important information, and I'm going to keep it just a couple minutes more longer. So Facebook has made some changes since I made that original video. Now, thankfully, I'm teaching you concepts and ideas and so on. That's going to transcend whatever logistical things happen or whatever changes the mechanics, you know, with Facebook, social media, online, offline. It's still the same thing. So be grateful for that, okay? I didn't teach you guys things that keeps you dependent on Facebook remaining the way that it is or that it was or how it's going to change or whatever. So Facebook now, you know, that commonality thing I was talking about before was a great idea. You can still use it. However, the commonality reporting is no longer there. Now we have the timelines, and in the timelines, people upload a picture banner. And what I found is that people generally upload a picture banner of something that is meaningful for them. So right away, this actually works out even better for me than the commonality reporting, because almost instantly, almost every time, I think of something to say, something short, sweet, simple, and then I send it, and I got my introduction, and I can whip out 10 in just a couple minutes. I can do 20 in maybe 5 or 10 minutes. It's pretty neat. So here's an example of things that you could say to a picture banner. A lot of people upload some scenic things. I love scenery, I love to travel. So something, an introduction, a private message might look something like this. Hey Sue, that is a beautiful picture in your banner. Is that where you live, or someplace you dream of visiting someday? Or maybe I could reverse it. I'll start with the question, then make the statement after. Is that a place you dream of visiting, or do you actually live there? That is a beautiful picture, Sue. That's it. Another thing you could say is, Facebook is going to list right there. You don't have to scroll. It's going to be right there what they do for their work, their occupation, where they live. You could say things like, hey John, what do you love most about living in Albuquerque, New Mexico? Jane, what do you love most about being, I don't know, a firefighter? Whatever it is, just fill in the blank. Or maybe their picture banner has a piece of artwork that you love, or a positive affirmation that means something to you. Just say something. Keep it 1 or 2 sentences only, no more than 3, and that's it. Just send them off. As you do this and you practice it every day, it's only going to take a few days, and you're going to get so fluent at a week tops, and you're going to be able to knock out 10, 20 introductions in a matter of a few minutes, and then man, you're off and running. Then you just keep doing that every day. Okay, one other thing I wanted to mention is Facebook. They are in the video prior to this, I said to not friend request people. Let them friend request you. I didn't spend a lot of time talking about that. I'm still not going to spend a lot of time talking about it, except to tell you that Facebook has really tightened down the nuts and bolts. If you go out there friend requesting people, you will eventually be put in Facebook jail, as we like to call it, where they stop you from being able to private message anybody. Then you can't message anybody. So always have the other person friend request you. After you go back and forth once, maybe twice, I don't go back and forth much. Usually the first time they get back to me, and as long as they're friendly and not mean or anything like that, then right away I'm like, you seem pretty awesome. Would you care to friend up with me? Or we should become Facebook friends. What do you think? Stuff like that. And if they ask me to send it, I'll write back and say, Facebook gives me problems with that. Does it let you send me a friend request? And then they do it. So don't send the friend requests. Otherwise, even if you're sure they're going to accept it, a lot of people check Facebook nowadays with their mobile devices, and they don't always see their friend requests. So then you got these pending friend requests that aren't responded to one way or another. And when you have so many pending requests, that trips some triggers in Facebook too, and they'll start shutting you down. So don't do that. And a really great thing about this is if you get somebody who's willing to send you a friend request, it's going to be a more quality connection anyway. So that's a good thing. And that's all I wanted to add to this. So enjoy. Go out there and practice those daily activities every day. Oh, one more thing. If there is only 3 things that you do a day on Facebook, let it be these 3 things. Talk to new people, preferably at least 10 to 20. Post a testimonial, a story of success on your Facebook wall, and edify it in your own words. Anybody can simply copy and paste somebody's success and cite the source. Do that, but also edify it in your own words and stand out from everybody else who's just copying and pasting testimonials. And then the third thing is to post an interactive question, something that gets the conversation going. And that'll take some practice to get really good at that. But if you do those 3 things every day, talking to new people at least 10 or 20, sharing a testimonial and edifying it in your own attractive words, and posting an interactive question to open up the lines of communication. If you do those 3 things every day, you're going to get better at it because you keep doing it, and you're going to build a following. And you're going to create an eager desire in people to come to you to ask you about what you're doing. And when if you do a 4th thing, then, and you should be doing this at least probably half of the days of the month, that would be sending out invitations, such as step 1 of the 5-step invite process. Invite somebody to watch a third-party tool, invite somebody to a challenge group, invite somebody to whatever. So do those things every day, coaches. Nothing will stop you, really. And reach out for help if you need it, even if you don't need it. Stay connected anyway. Nobody ever builds a business who disconnects from everyone else. That is ego, and weigh your ego to your bank account and see which is bigger. So shrink your ego, stay connected. I can't tell you how many people I've stressed that point to who will still do the completely stupid thing and disconnect from their team anyway, and they don't grow a business. It is so completely stupid, especially when you have that warning. So never disconnect from your team. That is the most
That is the dumbest thing anybody could ever do, especially now that you have that stern warning. And the warning isn't for me, it's just, it's nature. I pay attention. That's the reality of human nature. You cannot disconnect and expect to grow a business. So stay connected. Peace out.